We'll come back to the basics today. You know, as the earth, I think I mentioned this to you before. The earth was in a quadrant, you say in English? Quadrant?
Quadrant.
Quadrant?
Yeah, it is quadrant.
Yeah. In space. And in that quadrant, there is a sense, certain time, certain space, certain laws, certain dynamics, certain cycles, certain language, certain form. So in that quadrant in a space, if you can see in your mind different quadrants, like a cubes that divide our universe. So as Earth move up and forward to another quadrant, different laws apply and different perspectives come your way. It's an opportunity. One of them is time. Have you noticed how quickly time is passing? We're already in the almost 10? Mid-January. So how much time we have and how we supposed to manage time? That is something that born in one quadrant are in transition to another quadrant. And time is one factor that we need to learn. We can talk a lot about time in relationship to space, right? Space is the horizontal aspect, while time is the vertical aspect of the quadrant. So they are inseparable. And it's created through the collective consciousness of different races. For example, how they measure time, the Aboriginal Australians to the white people is quite different. So collectively we kind of figure it out, different ways of measuring time. In ancient times it was just the moon, there was not any clock. The cycle of Earth, the moon, Venus, etc. So they knew it when to harvest, when to plant, when to do ceremonies. So the calendar and concept and behavior have changed through time. It is now again time to change one more time, where the clock will be obsolete. So this is the generality, but how you and your life and you as a seeker can use the vector of time and space to your best advantage. How the seeker can take full advantage of the change of time. So number one is recognize that it is changing. That your brain cannot operate in the same way. Neither your behavior. So there is the time that is outside of you, where society agree to work in certain format. I meet you at 9 o'clock. Everybody knows what is that. It's a way to organize things. And that is a speeding up. But by law, if that speed up, the internal time slows down. It's a counterpart. There is the time inside. Like you're sitting in meditation, and this seems like 3 hours. You look, it's only 20 minutes. Or when you are in love, 3 minutes is like an eternity. Why are you so late? I was expecting you so much earlier. So it's only 3 minutes left. Oh, okay. The internal time is different than the outside time. Have you experienced that? Since the realm of the seeker is the internal time, is the internal space, then we need to relate to the internal time and the internal space. Therefore, from there, the external time slow down. It's like a ray that goes out, and then the time that it was one day, it passed very quickly, but your perception, your sense, where you are inhabiting, where the seeker is inhabiting, is very slow. Because if you go and live in the outside time, you get burned. It's too quickly, too fast. That's what is burning the nervous system of people in this moment. They work with the outside time. Faster, quicker. Technology, everything is much quicker. Everybody has to be machines and our work. Deliver, quick. It's not the slow pace, where you knit your own sweaters and you measure, it didn't work, and you undo your sweater and you do it again. That is gone from the outside. But the seeker, the deeper it goes, the slower it is. It gets you into a point zero. Gets you to a point zero. And from that point zero, everything is slowed down. What is too fast, you don't even see it, or bother, or belong to. It's out of your matrix. You can go, but you remain that steadiness. So when you go out of yourself, out of the seeking space, you get destabilized. Just the other day you were saying, I feel like I never can catch up on time. But the deeper you go, the more management you have. And in that depth, of a slowness. And I see you interacting and see how much time you lose. Each movement that you do is either incomplete or there are fractions that you miss consciously. You're serving the soup. You're present because otherwise it will split. It's full. You feel satisfied that you have completed that task, and you sloppy put the spoon server back. You don't even notice that no, somebody else that is gonna come and it will be hot, so nobody can't really serve, or it will be dirty instead of putting it on the side. You lose mindfulness. Yesterday we were talking about completeness, completing from point A to point B. And in that time, when you're slow, you are mindful. You know that it's not only that this is gonna be here, but you know what is next. And you can prepare for what is next. That, believe it or not, is a base of compassion. Because you are leaving behind a trajectory, a space that is easy for somebody else. You are not only thinking in your time, in your space, in your location. You are expanding your sense of a space and time. We have been talking about collectiveness, cooperation, councils, union. It has to be also in the factor of time and space, where your mindfulness open allow the continuum of time and space to be in the inner, in the inside. If you are sloppy you say in English? Mm-hmm. If you're sloppy, you are leaving behind a time and a space that belongs to the outside. It's unaware. So that's something you have to match. You have to match the inside and the outside, time and space. The inside, mindfulness, slowness, consciousness. You don't lose any moment. You don't lose any second. Not because you are applying action, but you are applying awareness. It's not like, okay, let's get busy, let's not lose time. No, that you're outside. You are aware of the now, but you're also aware of the legacy of your now. This makes sense? You have a legacy of time. You occupy the space and the time. The seeker needs to occupy the inner time and space. And you can do it fast. I mean, I move fast. But I don't miss nothing. I know what's going on everywhere. And I know who and what is missing. Your cooperation is in time and space. Your expression is in time and space. So somehow you need to open, stretch your time and space. Because when you don't have it, it squeezes you out to a frantic collective time and space. Then you have no time. You are overwhelmed. Your nervous system cannot handle it. It's an important vector, time and space, because it's relative, it's paradoxical. But if you are a seeker, you need to know how you are operating, under what laws you are operating. Therefore, it's easier for you to cultivate your mindfulness. The quadrant is a temple, it's a sacred space given for life to express itself. And it's in perfect order, synchronicity. It's the science of astronomy and astrology. Perfect. Everybody, from the ant to the bigger planet, is in perfect alignment. So ask yourself how much time you have and how much time you lose. Where do you lose it? We know well that we lose it by resisting, by chatting in the mind, by investing in things that are not real. That we have covered many times. But there is one in movement, action. If you're serving, complete. The action is, I'm hungry, I'm gonna serve. Luckily, my soup is ready, so I just need to insert myself in the moment of serving. But that serving has to be complete, and your whole eating has to be complete. You don't take for granted anything. From serving, put the spoon aside, put the lid or not, look what is behind, what is needed. Is it burning? Is the flame off? Complete awareness of everything, what is happening in this second. That sharpness of education of your senses immediately plucked you into a time that is slow, that is mindful, that is real, that is nourishing. complete your whole entire activity. You eat like that. This is a retreat that is for this experiment. You know, nobody's gonna laugh at you if you're very slow. But it's to educate the mind. Maybe when you're at work, you don't go. But you have the training behind. Then you can move quickly, but you're still very aware. So this is what the retreats are experiments, where you can experiment different things, especially now in these times of rapid change. So don't place already the formula, oh yeah, when I go out then I will be very slow, calm, like in the retreat. No. You have to act quick. But you are matching the internal time with the external time. Does this make sense? Because time and space are magnetic. That's the third force, gravity. Each planet have a gravitational force that allow the order and the location to be in certain place. Like we are on Earth. We are submitted to gravity. So, time, space, gravity, they're all interacting, and you need to manage it. The seeker need to manage it. Because the perfect alignment is part of your alignment. You need to be in the right place, with the right time frame, and with the right lightness. If you're too heavy, like the ego and so, do you feel like like those too heavy? If you're too light, neither. Perfect weight. Vibration, weights. So it's to find that weight, to find that time, to find that space. And just remind me of when Buddha died, or before he died, he said, well, the disciples were so much in grief, and so we're missing the teacher now. Who's gonna guide us? And then he say, well, follow what I have taught you. Do what I have taught you, and go and meditate in 4 spaces. The place I born, the place I die, the place I got enlightened, the place I taught first. 4 places. He point the space, and he say, make pilgrimage to those places. Because when you are so intensively present in the alignment of your own light, everything around absorb that, become that, because is the natural space, time and gravity. It's like that space create a balance. You can call it temple, if you want. But he never got any temple. It was a tree where he born. Even when he was alive, it was a war and it was completely destroyed, the village, so it didn't exist. Where he got enlightened was under the Bodhi tree. Etc. So it becomes sacred because it's embedded with the energy of perfect balance. And it's through time, and it's through space, and it's through gravity. It's still the same tree, the same space you walk in, and yeah, something have happened here. Well, we have been in different temples. You enter the temple, yeah. You enter space, we were in Bolivia, and this, wow. We arrive in the town, the more unappealing town, not necessarily pretty, but yeah, it was a space. It was a time. So you can create it by the awareness. And I am teaching you this today because what we're studying today is creation. Yesterday was about death. Today is about creation. How you conceive. And before is there any form, there is time, there is the space, and there is gravity. Is in there that you are going to infuse yourself, your essence, to form you, to make you live, to rebirth your life, your projects, your offsprings. You need to arrive to your time, to your space, and to your gravity. It's the beginning. It looks like it's nothing in there. Because you look at it, are you going to look time? No. Are you going to look at space? No, empty. That's why the practices, it's about emptiness. It's about being hollow. It's about recognizing you in certain time and in certain space. Only in that you can born. And whatever that you need to hear, to understand, will born. Your insights come from this alignment. So it may seem very simple or unassociated, the spoon serving you soup and the creation of insights, but are actually very, very related. So in that relation is where you're gonna born, or from where you're gonna born. And you born first by insight, right? When you are, oh yeah, I realize that. Then you make an action, you make a decision, you make a course of action, if it's needed. But it's through those insights where your ignorance get dispelled and you're born little by little, piece by piece. The seeker is born. The ignorance get put aside. So today, two things. We are going to recover. I'm going to teach you to recover your missing time. Because this time, those time that you miss, that fraction of second that you miss by putting the spoon on the soup to put it aside, you were not aware where you were putting it. Those 2 seconds belongs to you. It's a breath. But if you're not aware, you're losing it. And that time that have no awareness hang out, wait on you. It waits on you. It become an unfinished business for the psyche. Those are in a small second, 1 second, add another second. By the end of the week, you have 10 minutes that are not embodied by you. Who is going to embody that? Somebody have to replace it. The following person have to take the spoon out of the soup, have to clean it, have to cool it, or have to change it. You're giving more work to somebody else. That create karma. You need to own your time. It's yours. It's what you're being given. It's part of your breath. You know, in the yogi text, they say, you're born with certain amount of breath. And when that amount of breath is finished, you die. Doesn't matter if you're reading your book, and you're in perfect health, doesn't matter. The moment that amount of breath are finished, you're done. And that energy force is embedded in the kidneys. The Chinese medicine knows that. So, use your time. You have the time, you need the awareness. Without awareness, you're disregarding time. So it's not just because you want to be effective. You will be effective. It is because you want to own your life. It belongs to you. Your life belongs to you. Your space belongs to you. Your time belongs to you. And when we are young, we think we have the whole time in the world. And when we pass 60 or 70, I only can have another 30 years, 40 years. You start thinking there is an end here. You're thinking your own mortality. Oh, I'm gonna die. But you don't see that you are dying every single moment because you're losing your time. You're not embodying the time that you're supposed to be embodying it. That's what it means, live fully. To live fully means I'm in every single time I am in. Call it present, call it awareness, call it mindfulness, call it sympathy. But this time, crucial, it's your only survival, is to understand that that time is changing. Everybody say times is changing, but nobody knows exactly what. So we'll recover today the time you have lost as a force, as an energy. And we also go deeper into the real time of the seeker and see what is inside. You know what you perceive, your insights, is just a simple, perfect awareness of time, space, and your cycle, your own personal cycle. Let's say just a simple awareness, I am suffering. It comes from certain awareness of experiences in time, in a space, and your own intelligence. Enlightenment is the same thing when you realize, that's what it is. And that realization belongs in your wisdom center. It applies to your compassion center and applies to your life center. So today, conception, awareness of you, how you're born. Really well. So let's start our journey today.